Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector. And I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. I am sitting here laughing at the discussion that is happening in the room at the moment. You guys make me laugh because I see all kinds of just strangeness that is happening here. And I absolutely love it. I'm laughing because I absolutely love how you guys just come, show up early, and just have a good time amongst yourselves, just talking about whatever's going on. So it is definitely good to see you guys. Someone says they finally made a live show. Well, welcome. This is what a live show looks like at Regie Collects. And I want to definitely thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit this Sunday. It is today is a big day. Today is a big day for the channel, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in just a couple of moments. But if you have never seen this particular show before, essentially the purpose of Ready, Set, Go is to give you guys a heads up on all of the content that's going to be coming out from the channel over the course of the week. We also give away a really cool slab thanks to our relationship with GoCollect. And typically I tee up the next giveaway that we'll be doing. We talk a little bit about news, and then we do a couple of other odds and ends. And I'm actually going to mix things up just today because we are not going to talk about news, but I'm going to give you guys some additional updates about some things that are happening with the channel. Maybe we'll do a little bit of Q&A. We're going to kind of wing this one just a little bit. I have been traveling this week. I'm back into town. My honey-do list was quite extensive, and I didn't have a whole lot of time to do show prep, but we are still nevertheless going to have a good show. So if you are watching this now on replay, or if you are live in the room and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do so. That way you can stay abreast of all the content that we release on a weekly basis. And then you'll also be eligible for all the good giveaways that we also do. So let me say hello to some comic book soldiers that have joined here in the room. Let me scroll up to the top. Chris Baird was, I think, the first person in here. I could be wrong. I had to refresh my screen a couple of times, but I see Chris here. Ariel's in the house. Kyler, my man, how you doing? Chaos Lord. Ariel is here. Harvey Abel is here. Scrolling down through the names, I think I saw Tina was also here in the room. Wayne McDonald, my brother from the north, is here. Tracy is best is in the house. Who else? Who else? Lewis is here. A couple of new people. I see names in there that I've never seen before, and one of which I don't even know how to pronounce. Rye is here. Lewis is here. Connecting Comics is in the house. It's good to see you, brother. Rush Diehard, also from Canada, is here in the room. Danny Costa, welcome to the live stream. Matt Gray is also here. It is, he said he set his alarm. Glad you were able to make it, brother. Beta Ray Comics is in the house. Mark Tripp is here. Zorro is here. Nile Effort is in the house. It is good to see each and every one of you guys. Oh, pause. Mr. Q Comics, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you as well. There's another Matt here. Super Honorable Nephew is in the house. I Am Jay is also here. There you go. Comic Craze. There are so many of you guys. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking a little bit of time out of your Sunday to join. We are going to do our awesome giveaway in just a little bit, so definitely stay tuned for that. If you guys have questions, make sure you drop your questions into the feed when I give the signal, because we are going to hopefully answer a couple of cool questions that you guys may have as we go through this thing, because I don't have the news that we normally do. So maybe we'll do some Q&A, and I would say type your questions into all caps. That way it'll make it easier for me to actually be able to see it. So why is today a special day? It is a special day for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, we hit 4,000 subscribers about an hour and a half ago, I think. I was literally sitting on the sofa, hitting the refresh button as the thing went from like 3,998 to 99 to 4,000, and then it very quickly went to like 4,003 as I held my breath hoping that no one would unsubscribe. So we finally hit 4,000 subscribers. Somebody's asking, is it the Gibbons birthday? You guys are hilarious. And then what's really cool is that is almost as soon as it happened, I received several emails and direct messages from you guys saying congratulations. And it means a lot. I mean, there are a lot of other channels that are a lot bigger than mine. There are a lot of channels that are smaller than mine. But I am very proud of what it is that we've been able to do here. Estrada says, on to 8K. That's what's up. That's what's up. But it's like, I'm very proud of the work that's been done here. I mean, I think that there are still a lot more things that we can be doing. I think there's ways to kind of elevate some of the stuff that I have done, and the goal is to keep striving for more and for better content. But again, I'm very proud of what has been done on the channel. My buddy Travis reached out to me, Comics with Bueller. He sent me a message. I think Comics with Bueller is almost at like 6,000 subs or something like that, and he is doing his thing. And I am super proud of both he and Comic Tom. All three of our channels basically started around the same time, and those guys are absolutely killing it. Couldn't be more proud of the work that they put into their respective channels. You know, this YouTube thing is not easy, and I look at a lot of YouTubers that are starting their channels, and I see that they get 100 views and 50 views, and honestly, I remember getting that. It wasn't that long ago where I would put out a video and like it would get 50 views, and one of them was mine. I remember when I had 150 subs. White Whale says when I hit 1,000, he says he's done. He's dropping the mic. He's done. He's retiring. I remember, and it is tough. It is tough to do this YouTube thing, but it's also a lot of fun. And that's why I continue to do it. It's certainly not for the glamour, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Nathan says, we love you. You love your videos, brother. And Comic Toms. Thank you, Nathan. I definitely appreciate that. And I missed a lot of the comments because I was trying to focus on what it was that I was actually saying. So I'll have to go back and read some of those things. Brian says the 1G Army soldiers. Holla at your boy. But no, I'm very proud of this. And I want to thank you guys. I think it was like Burke Nasty. Was it Burke Nasty? Somebody sent me a message and was like, bro, I remember when you were at like 1,500 or 1,200 subs or something. Yeah, it was Burke Family 54 Comics. He hit me and he was like, I remember when you were at like 1,200 subs. Congrats. I mean, it was not that long ago. And so again, I'm very proud of what we've been able to do. I'm very proud that you guys have like stuck with me and been part of this and provided me feedback and insight to get better and better and encourage me sometimes, much to my chagrin, to get better. Because sometimes it's hard to hear feedback, negative feedback. But when that negative feedback is given for the purpose of making one better, it is not easy to hear, but you hopefully can see what that person is trying to say. And there are so many people that are like, dude, you can do better. If you did it this way, that would really rock, And so I definitely, again, want to thank everybody, including Mark Tripp, who just dropped the super chat. Mark, thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate it. So the other important thing about today is that this broadcast right here is actually the 20th time that we've done Ready, Set, Go. I'm not a big fan of like counting the episodes and that kind of stuff, but the Ready, Set, Go preview show, which is this show, is one that I have been kind of keeping track of, and I number them, and I realized as I was setting this up that this was the 20th episode. So we've been doing this for 20 consecutive weeks on a regular schedule, which is awesome, And again, huge shout out to GoCollect for being there for the last 20 weeks to support what it is that we are trying to do here on the channel. I mean, they have given a lot of money, to be honest with you, towards the channel for me to be able to give away these books every single week. And right now, GoCollect is the only real sponsor of the channel. And so I definitely want to acknowledge their contribution and what they enable me to do for you guys. So a couple of other things I want to make mention of here as we keep this thing moving on. Harvey Abel's like, Harvey Abel prefers Regie, Set, Go. NC Slapjacks is like, which means that he has basically lost out 20 weeks on slabs. That's what he said. Brother, you had 20 chances of getting a free book. All right. All right, so a couple of other things I want to hip you guys to before I get to like the videos that are coming out this week. I just recently launched 2 days ago a podcast, and so the podcast thing is something that I've been noodling for a while. I've spoken with I think comic fire guy Ryan and I have spoken about it a couple of times. Spoken about it with Comics with Bueller and a few other people. I did a poll a couple of weeks ago and I finally made the jump. And so I actually launched a podcast. Basically, the vlogs that I've been creating for the channel here, I've put them onto a podcast service. So for those people that want to listen to podcasts, they're on the move, they're on the run, whatever happens to be their third shift, they're driving their big rig, whatever it is, you can actually catch me on a podcast. And so the link for that is in the description of this video. I know a lot of people, and by a lot, I mean 13 of you have already listened to it and joined the podcast. I want to say thank you for that. I have submitted the podcast to Google Play, iTunes, and 2 other podcast subscription services. So I'm hoping that the content that gets put out there will start to kind of spread out there. So fingers crossed on that. Hopefully they will approve it and something will actually happen as a result of that. So I want to make you guys aware of that. For those people that participated in trivia, because we had trivia night during the day yesterday, all of those prize packs have been packaged up and they are going to be dropped in the mail tomorrow. And so I know Chris Barrett is here in the room. Chris, your prize pack is coming out. I did not send you an email, but your prize pack is in there and it is coming out to you. Ariel is asking how you submit to the podcast. There's actually a link in the description of this video, which has a link to the podcast page. And then hopefully, if things go right this week, the iTunes and Google Play and all that other kind of stuff will be able to take it up and kind of help spread the message. So, Ariel, if you can't figure it out, brother, just let me know. But the link in the description should be all that you need to get to the page. And then I think you can download, I think it's called Podbean. I think you can download that, or you can wait for it to come out on iTunes and all that other stuff. Fingers crossed. If anyone purchased a book from me, and I think there were a couple of people that purchased books, those will also go into the mail on Monday morning around 9 o'clock. So I will be there at the post office to drop those things off. So you guys should have that. And then one last announcement before I get to the videos that are coming out this week. I want to give a shout out to Canada Discount Comics. Canada Discount Comics is a service that reached out to me a couple of weeks ago. I think I've mentioned it to you guys at least once, maybe twice before, and I know a couple of you guys actually signed up. This is a new subscription service that launched recently. They are basically discounting previews, comics that are featured in Previews magazine by 30%, and everything on the site is actually in Canadian dollars, so it's actually possibly even cheaper for us here in the US. But if you go to the link in the description, you can actually take a look at everything that is in Previews magazine for the next, I think, 2 months. You can order your items and then they will arrive. If you spend $200 or more, which is a lot, they will actually do free shipping. But you check it out if you guys get a chance. Link in the description. And just remember, the cutoff, the next cutoff is July 23rd. So if you want to take advantage of those discounts, you have to get your order in by July 23rd. And the way that this thing works is if you happen to spend $200, fill your cart up with your stuff. You send an email to the owner whose email address is on the site. You send the email to him, let him know that Regie sent you, and he'll hook up your free shipping. So if you have any questions about that, just send me a message on Instagram or send me a message on email. Chris Barrett is asking a question. It is $200 in Canadian, 200 Canadian. So if you do that, let me know. Rush says he ordered his comics the day before and he still got them. Very good. Well, cool. There you go. There you go. Because I think he told me, Alex is the guy's name. I think he told me like a couple of people ordered. I know several people signed up, but I think only a couple of people ordered. But if you signed up, thank you for that. Because again, this guy is relatively new. He is trying to get his business up and running. He came to me and said, hey, can you help me out? Yes, I can. I'm going to give you a couple of shout outs and all that good stuff. So if you guys get a chance, Clay says he spent like $200 in the past week on comics. There you go. All right. So I definitely appreciate you guys encouraging people to give the thumbs up on the video. That always helps. So here are the videos that are coming out this week. And I think there's a couple of good ones. I have a video coming out. And if you guys remember, I've been doing, if you think back over like the last maybe 8 months, I've done a series of videos on comic protection. And I'm talking videos on bags and boards, on bins, on comic book insurance. I think that's it. There's probably a handful of them, just like various ways. And technically CGC encapsulation is a form of protection, right? But I've done a series of videos on comic book protection, and I'm actually continuing that arc, if you will, with a new video that is going to be dropping this week, with a new product, at least new to me, that some of you guys may be interested in. So stay tuned for that video, because I think it's a pretty good video. I did it almost as a live stream, only there was no audience. So it was a little more dynamic than some of my more structured videos, but I think it still has some good content. I'm also going to do a video this week that I'll be releasing an AOK. A couple of people sent me some AOK, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a haul video. This next one I think is going to be really fun. And I got this idea from a couple of people who started talking about how certain writers are getting like burned out. Wayne McDonald. Wayne, you are in that. Wayne McDonald says comic condoms. No, bro. I knew somebody was going to do that. Please. I knew someone was going to do that. Well done. Well done, Wayne McDonald and Brett Hess art. Well done. All right. So I got this idea from someone who basically was talking about how there aren't enough really talented writers out there to go around. And so part of my thought was, is that true? Is there only a handful of talented writers out there, or are there more talented writers than what we think? And so this video that it's a vlog that I've kind of created is asking that question of who are the hot writers? Who are the hot writers? Maybe there's someone that we haven't thought of, and it's an interesting video. I think that you guys are going to enjoy, because it's going to force you to kind of think about a couple of different things, maybe differently than you have. And so I'm definitely looking forward to kind of seeing where you guys take this vlog. And then another video that I'll be releasing is on comic book values. So a couple of cool videos, I think. And then I will probably also go live maybe 1 or 2 times this week. I think it'll be fun. Kind of a couple of impromptu kind of videos like I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. We'll probably just jump on and have a little bit of fun, Fist of Doom, and have a little fun just having a chat. And then if something controversial or interesting comes up over the course of the week, that'll also prompt me. And a huge shout out to everybody out there that essentially serves as like my reporters out there, because I get messages literally all day. Have you seen this? Have you heard that? What about this? I absolutely appreciate it, because it's how I stay in the know about what is happening, because you can't see anything. Shout out Wayne McDonald for hitting me with the correct pronunciation of Null from Donnie Cates. This was a Comic Tom thing that he put out. I actually happened to see it, and then Wayne McDonald hit me with it a little bit later. So I definitely appreciated that, because there's a chance I might not have seen it. So shout out to all those people that kind of keep me in the loop. You guys are hilarious. Hilarious. All right, so let's go ahead and give away a cool comic. This week's comic, again, sponsored by GoCollect, is this one right here. It is Eternals #1. It is a 9.2 with white pages. This is an awesome book. I have a copy right there and 2 copies down by my ankle. So I'm not completely jealous of this one. But this book is going to be shipped out to one of you guys this week. So good luck to everyone that entered the contest. And what I want to do right now is I'm actually going to pop my screen around so that you guys can see exactly what I'm looking at, and then we can give this book away. Just remember, if you are indeed the lucky winner of this awesome book, make sure that you send me an email to regiecollects@gmail.com so that I can get this book sent out to you in a timely fashion. And if you do it tonight, there's a pretty good chance I could get it to you tomorrow. So here we go. Let's go ahead. First, before we get to this thing, I want to look up Eternals really quickly. Oh, if I can learn how to spell Eternals #1. So we'll look this one up real quick so I can show you guys the FMV on this book. Scrolling down, you can see right here, click on the title, and this is a 9.2. So if we scroll down, we can see the FMV at roughly $200 for a 9.2. I'm going to go ahead and click on this thing, and you can see there's been a couple of sales here as of late. On 6/21, there was one for $204. On 6/21 as well, there was one for $167. There was one for $209 before that, so on and so forth. So definitely it is a nice book, all right, especially with the white pages. 9.2 is not bad, but this is just a really quick way to kind of make sure that the book is in our range for FMV giveaway, which is between 150 and I think 250 or 200. I can never remember. All right, so here are the list of names of individuals that actually entered this week's giveaway. This list was posted up, I want to say around 9:30 today. So here we have a duplicate. So we're going to remove. Oh, there's a couple of duplicates in here. Oh, what happened? Let me remove these. That was okay. That was one duplicate. Normally, I go through this thing and dedupe it, but I may have missed one. So I want to scroll through this a little slower to make sure that there's nothing else doubled up in here. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so it's looking pretty good, I think. Looking pretty good. Go a little bit slower. So hopefully, I know there was one person that posted up on the page about an hour ago saying that they actually did not see their name in there. When I went back to the database and did a full extract of the database, that person's name actually was not listed. So I'm not quite sure what was up with that. But if you enter the contest, I do a full download of the database directly from MailChimp. And so there should not be anyone's name that is missed if they do enter the giveaway the correct way. So sorry, I'm stalling here so I can continue to scroll through this thing and make sure that there are no additional duplicates. All right, so there we go. That is our list, and we're basically going to randomize that thing. So let's go ahead and roll our dice, and hopefully we won't get 11 the way that we have been. So we actually have a lower number. Thankfully, someone actually pointed this out a couple of weeks ago. It was like, every time you do it, you get a high number. That is correct. So today we actually have 9. We're going to randomize our list a total of 9 times. So here we go. We're going to scroll down to the bottom, and we are going to randomize this thing a total of 9 times. That is 1. That is 2. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the winner of this week's GoCollect giveaway of an Eternals #1 is, drum roll, Brian Parent. Brian Parent is the winner. Is Brian Parent a 2-time winner? Huh. So Brian Parent is the winner of this week's GoCollect giveaway, an Eternals #1 9.2 with white pages with an FMV of $200. You, sir, are the winner. So make sure that you send me an email to regiecollects@gmail.com so I can get this thing bundled up and sent out to you in a timely fashion. So I'll go ahead and come back here full screen so that I can see you guys. NC Slapjacks 0 for 20. I'm sorry, brother. 21 is your lucky number. Here you go. That is what Brian Parent is going to be getting, that really cool book, as well as an exclusive variant from GoCollect. I need to reach out to GoCollect because I think I only have like 2 copies left of this. But Brian, send me an email and I will make sure that I get this book sent out to you so that you have it. Chris Barrett says, that's a 20-week losing streak. Yes, that is true. But Chris, you have won your fair share of stuff from me, my friend. There's a couple of people that have won. The system is not rigged. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. So if anyone has any questions, let's type them in all caps. Let's have a little bit of a discussion here. If folks still want to hang around, we can definitely mix it up and have a good time. What you'll notice is that I am actually not going to be showing, I'm not going to be showing this week's book that is going to be given away because it is not yet arrived. I do have one book on hand, but that is actually my book and I don't want to give it away. So I'm actually waiting for this week's giveaway to actually arrive. What I didn't remember was that there were 5 weeks this month, and that kind of threw me off a little bit. So I am trying to play catch up, and we'll hopefully get a book here in a timely fashion. Nathan, thank you for stopping by, brother. I definitely appreciate it. It is good to see you. All right. So Tracy is best. Always ask the very difficult questions. He says, when will you finalize a pressing video? Can't wait for that one to be released. So before I can finalize it, I actually need to film it. And before I can film it, I need to brainstorm it. It is not necessarily an easy thing to shoot a pressing video, right? Because of the nature of the press being so big, and the process itself is not conducive to like this narrow window of me being able to show you stuff, you know? And so I'm always trying to put together a good high quality video with a good angle where you can actually see it. So I need to kind of think through what's the best way to do it. Is the best way to do it still videos where I describe it, or do I try to set my camera up in a way that I can actually kind of sort of mimic some of the steps? So that's what I need to figure out, is what kind of video do I want to produce? Do I want to do it in 2 steps? Like, here are the resources for pressing, and then here is the pressing process. Do I do those things separate from the cleaning process, which is something that I'm still trying to wrap my mind around? Do I show you guys examples of pressing, books that I have pressed, the before and after? So it's all these things that I'm trying to think through. And at the end of the day, the goal is to put out a good video that actually helps people. And so I need to take some time to wrap my mind around the best way to do it before actually shooting any footage. So my hope is that I can noodle it over the next, 2 days or so, and maybe put something together that could be released maybe next week or the week after. So I need to figure it out. And I'm teasing you, Tracy, is best, but that it's a legit question. And I didn't realize that when I mentioned it in the last live stream that people were going to latch onto it and be like, yo, what's up with the video? Because normally I have it lined up and I'm like, hey, I had this video coming out, and then I drop it. Whereas now I'm like behind the 8 ball. There's definitely an appetite for it. Like, one guy hit me and he's like, my press is on the way. So can I get the video? So stay tuned. Stay tuned on that. I will try to do something that I can get to you guys in a timely fashion. There was a question about Sandman. I actually lost it. Sandman coming to Netflix. Anyone interested in the key issue video? That's a White Whale's asking that question. I don't know a thing about Sandman, so I'm gonna say yes, because that'll be cool if you can get me up to speed. Wayne McDonald says, grab a wall book. No, thank you. No, I don't want to be on Bueller's Blue Ball. I actually think I am already, but I don't want to be on there. Scrolling down through some of the comments, somebody, P. Patrick, is asking the question, how many hours a week do you spend making videos? It's hard to say, bro, because I actually don't even track it. You know what? Sometimes I can honestly sit down in front of a microphone and record 4 videos in a row. Boom, 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 done. Right. And the reason for that is because I'll be noodling different topics over the course of like my day, over the course of time. And so when I sit down to a mic, I just rip. And especially if it's a vlog, because I can just sit down and have that conversation, and it's an easy video because I don't have to really edit it all that much, because I don't have that many ums and ands and all that kind of stuff and long pauses. So it's easy for me to create those videos. If it's a video where I have to do a tremendous amount of research or like set up crazy shots like this pressing video, that takes a little more time. But generally it is not a quick process, because even if you film quickly, you still have to edit, and then you still have to upload, and uploading can be troublesome, like it was for me today, where my upload speed was 5.4. So it was painful. But it depends. It depends. Ghost Lantern asking if there's any hints on the next giveaway. No, there are no hints on the next giveaway. It'll be something cool. I promise you that. Honestly, what I do is I order a lot of books, and what I'll sometimes do is to slot the books in and out depending upon what's like happening and what I'm talking about and what's hot right now. I'll play around with it, but typically it's a good book. I mean, that's like the best that I can say, like the Eternals books. I had those for like a couple of weeks sitting here right on my ankle. And then we started talking about Keanu Reeves, and I'm like, boom, let's go with the Eternals, So it's tough to say. It's tough to say what the next one is. I ordered 3 books to come in. And so who knows which of the 3 is going to show up first? Who knows whether I want to release those? So we'll see. Yeah, so Mark Tripp is asking the same question about the pressing video. You guys seem to be encouraging me to prioritize that, so we might have to do that. Scrolling through some of the comments again, if you guys have questions, throw them in caps because it'll actually help me to be able to see them. I actually don't really do too much collaboration stuff. It's tough for me. It's tough for me to do that kind of stuff just because it's really hard to kind of coordinate schedules. And then you've got to have, you know, the right personality, the right temperament to make it all work and to make it flow. But I don't do a whole lot of that stuff, as you guys know. It's just not my thing. Greek Freak says you can do anything. You're awesome. You guys are gonna make me do that daggone video, aren't you? I see that. We need that video on pressing books. Yeah. I got you. So oh, here Dakota's asking a question about Spider-Man. So have I recorded a video on that? I don't think I've recorded a video on that topic exactly. So I may have to do that, right? Because I do get this question a fair bit. So I think there's a couple of things that draw me to Peter Parker. Peter is an outsider who was never quite fit in. And so I definitely, as a kid, got on board with that. Even now as an adult, right? Because there are certain things that I don't do that make me an outsider from other people. And I'm actually, over time, I've grown more comfortable with that role. You know what I'm saying? With not being like everyone else. I'm actually cool with that. But as a kid, that was a huge thing. He has this great sense of responsibility for his family, which is, I think, important. You know, I had that as a kid, and I certainly have as an adult with 2 kids and a wife, right? My family is my responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility, right? So I definitely dig that. You know, he is a hero, but doesn't necessarily seek the limelight. Again, something I can get on board with. I don't know. And just, I personally think that Spider-Man is just a really, really cool character, right? Just keeping it honest. I think he's a cool character, right? Where he is, by all accounts, a normal person that has extraordinary abilities. I dig that. And I've always been attracted to Spider-Man as a character. And one of the things that I've actually debated, and I've been thinking about doing a video on this, is it's almost like, did I choose Marvel or did Marvel choose me? And what I mean by that is, if you think about the number of comics that Marvel puts out now and that Marvel has historically put out, and the popularity of those books and the way that those books sell and the residual value of those comics, did I choose Marvel because I really like the characters, or was Marvel forced upon me because it was what was always on the shelf at the comic shop? And so I'm still noodling that as a topic, but it's one that is in the back of my mind that might make for a good video. I need to think a little bit more about that. But thank you, Dakota, for asking that question, because it got me to that. And again, I'll walk around with like 10 topics in my head, and I'll jot them down on my board, and I'll kind of noodle them from time to time. And then, you know, I'll go ahead and set up the camera and just kind of rip it, you know. A couple of people, Fist of Doom, talking about Keanu as Moon Knight. Bro, I have seen Keanu as Moon Knight, as Wolverine, as Mr. Fantastic, as Icarus from Eternals. Who else? I mean, he's been everyone and their mother, you know. A lot of people are talking about Keanu. We'll see what he shows up as. Yeah, White Whale's making a point. So White Whale's one of my boys. I dig White Whale, his personality, his temperament, his intelligence, his talent. I dig it. And I like working with this dude. I was watching him long before we ever actually worked together. And, you know, I enjoy him as like a person, you know? And so that was the point that I was trying to make about this thing, the vibe with people. And if you do a video with someone, you have to have, in my opinion, similar values. You know what I'm saying? And I like to, you know, collaborate with those people that I like, you know, and that I am inspired by, you know what I'm saying? So that's my guy. White Whale's my guy. There's no doubt about that. That's why he has the wrench. Let me scroll through. There was another comment. There's another question. Again, if you guys have questions, just throw them up in the questions. Oh, someone asking what type of press did I get? So here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. Someone asked me that question yesterday. I shot a photo of my press. It has no badging. It has no badging, and that's why I need to do the video, because in the video that'll force me to find the catalog that came with the thing, so I can actually tell you guys what the brand is, because I don't know the brand. And if I did, I definitely tell you. But yeah, I've been. I think I saw Chris Bear was asking a question. I have been secretly pressing books for probably 2 months now. Behind the scenes, I've been pressing books like crazy. You know, some relatively expensive books of my own I've been pressing. I will probably never do it as a service for other people, because I don't want that kind of responsibility. But I do press my own books because it actually saves me money. And so I'll talk more about that in a video, maybe talk about the methodology, talk about the resources that I pulled together, the things that I've learned. So again, these are all the things that I want to try to figure out how to put in a video that is not a 20-minute video on pressing, you know, because I don't know if anyone's going to watch that, but maybe a couple of chapters breaking it down, that might be the way to go. So there you go. If you guys have Chris Bear, Keanu is asbestos man. You are hilarious. If you guys have questions, throw them up in caps so that I can actually see them. Keanu will never be the Cosmic Gibbon, sir. First, James, Keanu is not the Cosmic Gibbon. The Gibbon is played by the Gibbon, the actual Gibbon. That is him. The Gibbon actually is now at the Oakland Zoo. There are 2 Gibbons, I do believe, at the Oakland Zoo now, which is where we are members of the zoo. So there's a very good chance that in a future video, you may be seeing some video of actual Gibbons. So Eddie is asking a question of who could eventually assume Stan Lee-esque role in future movies. That's tough, bro. And I say that because there is no one else that is Stan Lee. That there's no one else that can be Stan Lee. There is no one else that when I read a comic is inside my head where I can hear his voice after never having actually heard his voice. If you know what I mean. Like Stan, man, Stan is big. He is big, and maybe it's because he was there when I was like a kid, you know, Stan the man, and Stan, and just his editor publisher voice in a comic just resonated with me and stuck with me. And to actually then see him, whether it was in person or a movie, with his sharp wit, I don't know if there's anyone else that can bring that to life. You know, I mean, I barely even know the names of the publishers and the editors at Marvel, to be honest with you. I barely even know the guys' names. And so I don't know if there is anyone else, you know, honestly, that would get that kind of response from audiences. That's tough. Almighty Liger King says press an AF-15 and people will watch. So bro, check it out. You buy me that AF-15, I will press that sucker. You buy it, I will press it, and I will then hang it on my wall back there. Yeah, I know. So I know I made the joke that people won't watch a 20-minute video, but I think that they would, especially if there's some tidbits in there that they're learning. I would agree. I don't know if a lot of people will watch a 20-minute video versus creating smaller, almost like video vignettes around specific discrete topics sections related to pressing, like, you know, materials and the process, the cleaning process, separate from the pressing process. So I just need to think through it like I do most videos and try to come up with something that will actually make sense. Keanu is Namor. No, you are alone. You are alone. And that's my friend. Keanu would have to put on probably, in my opinion, probably 25 to 30 pounds of muscle in order to play a good, convincing Namor, because I recently saw a video or a photo of him online shirtless. He does not have any muscle. And so in my mind, Namor is a gentleman with muscle. And I think he's also kind of sort of Asian. At least that's the impression that I've always received of Namor. So try to press a book, and, you know, it didn't roll when the book cover ended up. Oh man. Yeah, I got you. I got you, brother. Marcellus is talking about pressing a book. I got you. Not that I'm an expert, so let's just keep it honest. I am not an expert. I have some experience with pressing, and I will try to share some of those experiences with you guys as best I can. Wow, there's a lot. I missed a lot as I was talking. Mr. Comics 89 is basically saying Stan Lee because yeah, no one else can take his place. I want to say that I thought they had some extra cameo stuff in the can, but maybe not. Maybe not. I could be wrong about that. So John Romita Sr., could he take his place? I think that the problem is that it's Stan's temperament, his playful demeanor, even as an older gentleman, is what is kind of hard to replace. And I don't know if John Romita has that same level of energy. I mean, even Chris Claremont, I don't know that either one of those guys. I mean, John Romita doesn't even do very many cons, right? And I mean, Stan was doing cons, probably well beyond when he should have. So it's not necessarily about the name so much, because you still have Jumpin' Joe, you still have Chris Claremont, you still have John Romita Sr., among other seniors that are out there. It's more about his temperament. I don't know if any of those guys have that charisma of a Stan Lee. Even if they throw on a pair of khakis and a green pullover, I don't think that they could pull it off. You know what I'm saying? But I could be wrong, and I would like to be wrong. I would honestly like to be wrong, because what Stan brought to a movie was just a certain level of energy, even though it was only on for a period of time, that is really tough. Is really tough. There you go. A couple of people making outside of Jack Kirby. There you go. And I don't even know if Jack had that kind of dynamic charisma, to be honest with you. So, again, I would happily be wrong if someone could step in there and make some magic there. So here's a question. IMJ is actually asking the question here. So here's the thing. And I think I've spoken about this in the past, but it was like embedded in a video. So let me, answer it here. AF-15 is on hold. AF-15 is on hold. Why? Because I realized that going after AF-15 in a full run of Amazing Spider-Man is tough. It is tough, because both of those things are super expensive. And so if I'm going after, a relatively expensive low number Amazing Spider-Man, that's a nice chunk of money that is not going towards AF-15. So my focus right now is really on trying to take down the full run of Amazing Spider-Man and backtrack, if you will, to AF-15 a little down the road. There's some things that I'm doing in the background and stuff like that that may speed that process up. But I had to focus my energy, because trying to do both, it just wasn't working. Just being completely honest, it just was not working. Scrolling down through the comments here, looking for more things in caps. And because I'm running my mouth, some of the comments may be a little off. If someone gave you an AF-15 and tried to press it and the cover detached, would you be more or less? Dude, if I detach that cover on that AF-15, I'm gonna just be upset at myself. And to be honest, I have only pressed, the lowest Spider-Man book that I've pressed was, I think, 24. I think 24 was the lowest that I've pressed on Amazing Spider-Man. But I've pressed books that are, some decent amounts of money, right? That was kind of how I put myself to the test. I mean, I started out with 50-cent books and dollar books, right? I did a whole lot of those. I did a lot of modern books, and before I moved on to, some copper, bronze, silver kind of stuff. But yeah, I've pressed a couple of books that are actually worth some money to prove that I could actually do it, Chris Barrett's naming off a couple of people here that potentially could fill those roles. And again, I think that those are all legendary people, right? I don't know if any of those people have any name recognition outside of the comic book community, unlike a Stan Lee. I think that Stan Lee, his name is a name that is recognized not just by comic book fans, but also by some segments of the larger public, right? And that's why that guy, what's up, Bill Mayer, that's why he said what he said, right? Because he knew that people would actually know who Stan Lee was. If you uttered, Jim Shooter, I don't think the general public's going to know who that is. I mean, Chris Claremont, maybe, only because he's been getting some press lately because of the X-Men movie. I think it's tough. I think it's tough for anyone to step into that role. Just being honest. Scrolling through some of the comments here, looking for those that are in caps. I'd love to see Jim Lee in a movie. I don't know if Jim Lee has the temperament to do that, right? He seems like not just a soft-spoken guy, but more of a guy that's a little more humble and more in the background, and seems to be quite okay with that. Whereas, again, Stan Lee was I'm in front. You know, he was a marketing guy, right? The creative types, I don't know. I don't know about that. But I'm a big fan of Jim Lee. So yeah, if he jumps in a movie, sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. Scrolling through some of the comments, very true, Reggie. No one can replace Stan. It is tough, man. It's tough. And you know, I don't think that the person that asked that question originally was like replace Stan, but it was like, hey, could someone, you know, kind of step in and be like, hey, where people would, you know, resonate with that person. I think that was more it. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of clarify that. Kevin Feige cameos. Yeah, I actually thought about Kevin Feige earlier, but again, you see Kevin Feige, you're like, oh, it's Kevin Feige. You see Stan Lee, you're like, oh, it's Stan Lee. It's not the same. At least in my mind, it's not the same. I stood in line for Stan Lee. I am not standing in line for Kevin Feige. Just being honest. Just being honest. So how many books do I need to complete the run? At last count, if you watch one of the most recent videos, I think the count was 16. If you watch one of the most recent, oh, Rush Die Hard is on it. Rush is on it. Rush is like, boom, 16. Well done. I can tell you the number is actually lower than that now, but you have to stay tuned to the videos to find out how much lower. Scrolling through the comments here, have you damaged any books pressing them? No, I've not damaged a single comic while pressing. Why? Because I actually I took a very methodical approach with what I was doing. I literally timed everything. How long did I expose it to the water? Timed it. Had various times for various books, various processes, right? How high did I set the temperature, right? How long did I leave it on the heat? How long did I leave it in the press? I literally for like 3 weeks, that's all that I did was just test different things. And then I was like, okay, I think I have the right amount of time. I think I have the right amount of temperature. I think I have the right amount of time in the on heat. How long to leave it on the press. And so I kind of played around with all of those numbers until I got something that I thought worked. Then I tested it all the way through with a couple of different books, made a couple of additional tweaks. I have not damaged one book pressing. Now, I have slightly damaged one book cleaning. It's one of those things that when you clean a book, you have to be super delicate. And I rubbed it a little too hard and removed some of the gloss from a book. That is the only damage that I've actually done to a book. Now, I have been able to fix dog ears, corner creases, spine rolls. I've been able to fix a lot of those imperfections that we normally see, but there's still more to learn, right? There is still more to learn where I'm always like, well, I didn't get that out. And can I get that out? Like, is it possible to actually get that out? Those are the things that I'm starting to ask myself now, because I feel really comfortable with the pressing side that I'm starting to like ask myself some of those tougher questions. The cleaning side, I'm still trying to figure that out. So, and that's part of the reason why I'm thinking about a multi-part video where I separate certain things out, because the cleaning is where I feel a little uncertainty around it. So I may wait on that one and focus more on like the pressing tools and the pressing process and delay the other part. So great question, super honorable nephew. Thank you for allowing me to answer that one. Scrolling through some of the comments. Yeah, Ariel, I will definitely get to that one. Matt, great. Thank you for stopping by, brother. Definitely appreciate that. So I don't want to give away all the secrets because I still want you guys to watch the video. So stay tuned for some of that. Scrolling down through some of the comments. All right, so I think that's about it. I am going to wrap this thing up. Again, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. We still have a good crowd of people here just kind of hanging out on a Sunday night, having a chitter chatter about comic books. There is some good content that is coming out from the channel this week. Hope you guys will check it out at some point. Like I said, we'll be doing a couple of live videos this week, maybe 2 videos. That's what I'm kind of feeling right now. If something crazy happens, then maybe more, but at least 2 videos. But I want to thank you guys for being part of this journey from 150 subs all the way up to 4,000 subs. We've got a podcast now. We're doing pretty cool things. And I want to thank you guys for supporting the channel, supporting me through this journey. And hopefully we'll get to like some crazy number, like 10,000 subs or something crazy like that. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out. And if you need me, feel free to reach out to me at Regie Collects on Instagram and reggiecollects@gmail.com. Take care.